Okay, now this is a beautiful piece on obstacles, because obstacles are what cause us stress, right? Obstacles at work, obstacles in health, obstacles in relationships. Whenever there are, you can lean back against that. Whenever there are obstacles in our path, that's when we feel stressed, because we feel overwhelmed that how will it go, what will happen, if things go wrong, how will I cope with it? That is the source of our anxiety, right? But it's always beautiful to remember that life never gives us one drop more of pain than what's good for our growth. If there is truly a meaning in every curve and line, then there has to be a purpose in the obstacle, and that's what this piece talks about. One night recently, my daughter was showing me an aquarium full of tadpoles. She had purchased a whole bag full of them for her children to watch them grow from tadpoles into frogs. It was fun watching all those little wriggly creatures swimming around in the aquarium. It brought back many fond memories of my own childhood, playing with critters down in my grandparents' house. I noticed that there was a big rock in the aquarium. When I asked her why she put a rock right in the middle of the tadpole's environment, she told me an interesting story. Any guesses? Why has she put a rock in the middle of the, yeah? Come.
Basically, tadpoles just move around. Just to put an obstacle in place so that they are able to swirl around.
Very good, to create an obstacle. Now remember, this was a person who loved her aquarium. She wanted the best for her tadpoles. She didn't want to hurt the tadpoles. But she has put an obstacle in the tadpoles. Okay, this she for us is the one who makes the aquarium of our life, right? The higher intelligence, the mother. And the mother also maybe puts obstacles in our path with the same intention for our good. She said that she was instructed by the pet store salesman to be sure to put a big rock right in the middle of the aquarium. He explained that the tadpoles must have this obstacle to give them the incentive to climb up, and thus split their wriggly tails so that their legs can begin to develop. If they have no rock or obstacle to climb up on, they will never turn into frogs. They cannot learn how to hop by just swimming around in water. They must have something causing resistance to give them incentive to leap forward. The man went on to tell her that last year a school teacher came back to the store and complained because none of her tadpoles ever turned into frogs. She had put all of them in an aquarium and let them swim around, but never become frogs. He asked her if she had put a big obstacle like a rock in the middle of the aquarium. She said she had not. She did not know that a tadpole would remain a tadpole unless it faced some obstacle or barrier that forced it to grow. Neither did I, but it makes perfect sense. So my daughter was excited to show me all the tadpoles swimming around the rock. In time, they will begin to try to climb up on it, and eventually they will make the transformation into a more fully mature creature. Well, I was amazed and delighted to hear that story. It helped me better to see once again why life presents obstacles and barriers in front of us. The barriers are not there to hinder us, but they are there to cause us to grow. It is not so much that the object is in front of each of us that matters, as much as it is our attitudes towards it. If we realize that the obstacle we are facing is really a gift that has come our way to help us grow, and mature, we will be much more likely to face it in a positive manner. Since I watched these tadpoles the other night, I saw the big rock in their aquarium. I have begun to see the obstacles I face in a different way. Instead of being rocks in my path, those obstacles have become stepping stones to help me leap forward in whatever situation I find myself. I know that those little tadpoles have no idea what is going on. They just are not that smart. So when we are not so conscious in terms of consciousness, we are little tadpoles. We resent obstacles in our path. We feel that if we were just left to swim around in the aquarium, it would be so much better. But if we did that, we would never grow. We would never grow in faith. We would never grow in compassion. We would never grow in coping skills. So just the way the designer of the aquarium knows exactly how much obstacles to put, the designer of the aquarium of our life knows exactly how much troubles to give us just for our growth. It's never to push us under. But you know why obstacles are so important? Because to survive, we have to push our limits. We have to push our limits of faith. We have to push our limits of resilience, tolerance, which left to ourselves, we would never push. Like the tadpole has to exert that little extra strength to jump compared to swim. And every time it pushes itself that little harder, it develops the muscle to do so. Since I watched those tadpoles, one sec, The truth of the matter is neither are we. Most of us have no idea what all is going on in our lives either. We don't know that the barriers and obstacles, challenges, difficulties and hard times that come our way each day are actually there for a purpose. This is the most difficult pill to swallow when we are really going through a tough time, to accept that this difficulty is there in my life for a purpose. My reason for the difficulty is that horrible person who's creating trouble for me, or I'm a horrible person, I'm just not capable enough, I'm not doing enough, whatever. Either way, it's they are bad or I'm bad, and that's the reason for my difficulty. But that's not so. That's not the reason for my difficulty. The reason for the difficulty is that I'm so loved, that I'm given exactly the right amount of obstacle to jump over to build my strength. So each of us gets a cross to bear proportionate to the strength of our shoulders, right? If our shoulders are stronger and I need to strengthen them more, if I can easily hold a 2 kilo weight on my shoulders, why will God put only 2 kilos on my shoulders? My shoulders won't strengthen. If my shoulders are stronger, He'll put more load, just because in this birth I've come with a consciousness equipped to shoulder the load and grow from it. So, there is no way we will have the incentive to grow or become better or to strive harder if everything in life is just a simple situation. I know the harder I work at anything, the more profitable it is for me, not only financially but personally, in my own heart and character as well. The next time you see a frog hopping around, smile at him and thank him for the lesson, remembering the struggle he has gone through to get where he is. Perhaps out in the wild somewhere, he faced a difficult rock or a barrier in his life, but rather than swimming away from it, he just crawled up on it and began to develop his personal strength until he eventually matured to become the frog that you see hopping around. I have a whole new appreciation for tadpoles and frogs, don't you?